Okay, so the next video here is going to be looking at the time node. We've briefly touched on this when we looked at our sine waves in the previous one. If I just debug this, it's the number of seconds, or the time in seconds since the game started or the editor was opened. So in this case, I've been running for about 3,700 seconds. This is useful. This is useful for doing all sorts of animation inside our material. Anything that moves is going to have some kind of time component, whether that's a panner or a rotator or a rotate by axis or sine wave, whatever it is. If there's some kind of movement component to it, it needs to have time involved in it. One of the options inside the time node is what's called a period. So we can have it basically repeat. So in this case, it's repeating every second. So it goes from 0 to 1 and then repeats. If I set that to 5, now it's going to repeat every 5 seconds and just recalc back. Can be useful. Personally, not really a fan of this. It is useful in some places, but yeah, not the workflow that I'm used to using. It can cause some issues. So if we just disable that for a second, well, we'll leave it on for this example. Similar setup can be achieved with the frac node. So the trouble with changing your period here is if you then want to multiply it, you're going to get values that go from 0 to 5 and then repeat and then get multiplied. It's not what I want. What I want is values that go from 0 to 1 and repeat, but at different speeds, if that makes sense. And so if I just connect this one up, our time is multiplied by a parameter, so it's slowed down, and then frac means it repeats 0 to 1. Speed this up slightly, and we see we get 0 to 1 repeating, but with a speed control, which I think is a much more useful thing. If I change this and then tried to multiply that, I wouldn't get 0 to 1 faster, I would get 0 to 2 or 0 to 3 instead. So yeah, different ways of getting slightly different things, but this is the one I think is more useful. Other option, ignore pause. If you have a pause menu in your game, you may want to pause, you may want to see things moving in the background. That's all that does there, so it ignores the pause command and carries on updating. Okay, yeah, time, very useful node. As I say, anything vaguely moving animation wise is going to be using time as an input, and you can control it with multipliers, and we'll see more examples of that in the worked examples as well.